Welcome to the Deadlifts and Pizza podcast, where we discuss no BS fitness and nutrition.
We're your hosts. I'm Laura.
And I'm Jaime.
Let's get into it.
Okay, hi.
Hi, how are you?
What's up? Good, how are you?
Okay.
How's your program going?
My program? Like
Yeah.
my cut?
Training.
Or just your training?
Well, both. Yeah, your cut and training program. I know your cut's going pretty well, though, because I just talked to you about it the other day.
Yeah. I kind of wanted to talk about that on here, though.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Go.
because it's a good topic, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I remember I said my weight was 126.6 when I started. That was wrong because I went back and I actually looked. And that's what it was. Like, it jumped up there for a minute, like, before I even started. So it was 125.8 before I started the cut. Or the morning of, And so 3 weeks in, so it's even less than 3 weeks in, because I didn't do measurements, and I measure with calipers also. I didn't do that till like a couple days into my cut. And then on Saturday I did those again. So it was like, it will say 3 weeks, but it was more like 2.5-ish weeks, right? And in those 3 weeks of being in the cut, though, I only lost 1.5 pounds. And this is a good reminder of why it's important to take other kinds of measurements, because if I just saw 1.5 pounds, I would be like, I don't know, not discouraged, but also like, is it even working? Because I could gain that back in a day, from water, right? I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's fat.
1.5 pounds could be the fluctuation day to day, like for anybody.
Yeah. So, but when I took my measurements, I lost like 1.25 inches off my waist. And when I measured with the calipers, like, those aren't, accurate. I'm not using those as like, this is my body fat percentage, but just to give me an idea of like if it's going down, right? So when I took it at the beginning, it was 24%, and then it went down to 22.2%. And then my pictures look way more different than I expected in 3 weeks, right? Like, you can tell the difference, where normally in pictures in only 3 weeks, there's like, you have to kind of like search for things. You'd be like, oh, you can see a little bit here. Like, I immediately was like, oh, this is totally different. I look so much different in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So super happy so far with what's going on, and also feel like weird. It's also weird because I'm like, what in the recomp is happening right now?
What in the recomp?
Like, I feel like,
especially because you're always the one saying like, it doesn't matter how much I drop my calories, my body like won't drop anything.
And it's funny because the weight didn't really drop much, but other stuff happened, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's the other argument. So yes, multiple forms of data, like having your weight, but also having measurements and also having photos, because the scale does not tell the whole story, right? I mean, that's something that we constantly talk about, but I think it also really shows the importance of having daily weight data, because there's so many people who are like, okay, I'll step on the scale, but I don't want to do it every day because it's going to mess with me. So I'm going to do it like once a week. Well, 1.5 pounds, if that's the like the trend, like you're trending 1.5 pounds down, you might not even see that if you compare a Friday to a Friday. It might literally like go away in between those two times. Whereas really your Friday was your beginning weight, and the following Friday is actually, you just kind of went up a little, but you don't even know that because you don't have all of the data. Yeah. And so having multiple, like weighing yourself every single day, because it's going to be different every single day, but being able to see the trend line makes that like 1.5 pounds more valid and more real.
Yeah, it wasn't, it was really only 1.5 pounds, because it wasn't like that was a high day and then there was a low day. No, that was one of the lower days. So, yeah, but this week it went back down. This week it went down again. So that sometimes happens too, where it goes down in levels. So I'll be up here, and then all of a sudden drop, and it'll stay there, and then it'll drop, and it'll stay there, right? So it's today and yesterday.
It's like a stair step. Yeah.
It was 123.4 for the last couple days. So it did go back. It did go, I should not back down. It did go down. Yeah.
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 Cool. I'm so excited for you. I don't have any progress yet, but I'm 3 days in. So
Yeah, I was gonna ask you how you're doing because that's the worst time for me. The first 2, 3 days,
yeah.
I am miserable.
I don't know why I'm not miserable. And I don't know if I could even say that there is a normal that I have because typically when I start a cut, I'm coming from a little bit of a place of unknowing. Like I'm usually not doing a great job tracking. I'm kind of a little bit all over the place. So I don't know what it is, but I'm at like 15 to 1600 calories and I'm good. Like I'm almost a little full.
That's insane.
It might just be it might just be where my body's at right now because my training and my activity has also been a little bit lower. And
Mhm.
so now that I'm getting back into like a solid routine, I think that that's going to edge that up a little bit.
Yeah.
But
I'm also
yeah,
sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you if you
I
weren't
think I'm
done.
done. No, no, nothing
I
else.
that was the other thing because I feel like this is working really well. It's only been 3 weeks, like I said, but I'm trying to figure out what's different this time compared to other times. And I don't know if it's I am eating, and I think I normally do this, but I am eating almost all whole foods. Like not just almost all whole foods, but very nutrient dense foods. Right, eating a lot of vegetables, things like that. So it's not like 'cause, there's whole foods that are like rice that are like the most, nutrient dense, right? So when I'm thinking like I'm eating so well, it's because 'cause I'm eating like tons of broccoli and sweet potatoes and like, different things like that. Anyway,
Well,
so
you're doing that little mindset shift you said where it's almost like a game, like how you
yeah.
can meet your calories so you're not going over those with like bites and licks and tastes and stuff.
Yeah. And but I don't even know cuz normally I still track everything cuz I want to be accurate, so I
Yeah.
normally still track it. So I don't know. The only other thing I can think of is that I am working out still 6 days a week and still my activity is pretty high. Normally my steps go up automatically, and I don't think it's because of the cut itself. It's springtime. And when it's
Mhm.
springtime, I go for more walks outside. So normally my steps and activity go up naturally because I'm just moving more. But I don't think I normally work out 6 days a week. So my activity is still high and I'm working out 6 days a week.
That
So
the
yeah.
activity do you remember when I've said this before, I think of my life in these chunks of time based on where I lived, right? So when
Yeah.
I was living in Germany, my weight was sitting at like 128, and then when I moved to San Antonio, it creeped up to 133 and it really sat there. And
Mm-hmm.
even when I would, the 133 was kind of like my happy spot, but I would start to gain weight, and then when I did a cut, it's like my body wanted to go back to 133, it wouldn't dip below again, and I was like, Why? I'm not doing anything different." But then when I
Yeah.
really, because like, my steps are the same, my workouts are the same, like, what could be different? And I realized it's activity. I think I realized that it's the activity that, like, my watch might not necessarily pick up. Like, when I was living in Germany, I was biking to the grocery store every single time. I was biking the kids, and my watch doesn't pick up the biking. I would put it on
Mm-hmm.
my ankle sometimes, but I wouldn't always remember to do that. But I was just always on the go.
Yeah.
Like, constantly, rarely ever in my car. And it's one of those, and I kind of suspected that, but now even just you saying this, I feel like it's even more likely that it's just I think people way underestimate activity and how that really adds to, like, your body and what it's burning.
Yeah, definitely.
And it can be activity that doesn't wear you out or tire you necessarily. It's just this slight uptick,
Yeah.
and I think it has an impact. So even just you saying that, like, you're more active.
Yeah, I normally am during a cut, like I said, because it's just around that time. But I have the activity and I have an extra 3 days I'm working out, probably 2 to 3 days, depending if I was working out 3 or 4 before. So it's both, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's the extra cardio that I do that might be
Yeah.
helping.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I definitely because my, like, most successful fat loss phase, was last year, and it was over turning when I was turning 40, and I even took a week off in the middle and I ate like mac and cheese and buttered crab legs and all this stuff, and then I got right back on track and my weight just kept going down. And that was one of the things too, was that I was doing taekwondo at that time. So I had that extra cardio input. like on top of it. So I was not just doing my regular strength training. I had like that extra.
Yeah.
And so I think
Yeah,
that
that's
really
right.
has a big impact.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. I feel a little run down, but at least it's not forever, right?
Yeah.
Feeling wise, I don't feel great, but
Yeah.
it is what it is.
It's temporary.
Yeah.
Um,
I sorry, I wanted to say that I the riddle, the whatever you want to call it. Is it a
oh,
riddle?
from last
That
week,
you
the bus driver
yeah.
one?
Yeah, it was so funny because like I couldn't figure it out, and then I listened. I'm like, I'm just gonna go back and listen, and not listen to her answer, but just listen to the riddle again. And I got to the first sentence, and I'm like, you what? You never
Yeah.
said that.
Yeah, I
And
did.
it's so funny how your brain just deletes information that it thinks is irrelevant. So once my brain heard numbers, it was like, oh, that it doesn't matter that you're driving the bus. That's not the important part. The important part is the people getting on and off the bus.
Right.
And it's funny because people like I've heard that like people have memories and they're just not correct because your brain will delete things
Yeah.
from that. It just things that are not, it doesn't think is important. And
Yeah.
so to me, it was like, yep, disregard. You're not driving the bus.
There's another one that's very similar. I don't know if you've heard the one where it's like you live in a perfectly round house is how it starts off. You live in a perfectly like cylindrical house.
Okay.
And then you go into this story, this kind of elaborate story about that there was a murder, like, and it's a murder
Okay.
mystery and you have to figure out. And then you get to the part where it's like, okay, and then, the police come and they start to question everybody and everybody's got their, like what they were doing at that time. And it's like the cook was doing, it's like maybe it's not you that lives in a circular, maybe it's like this rich guy lives in this, whatever. But then they go through like the butler, the maid, and the cook, and like what they were all doing and who was suspected. And then you give what everybody was doing at that time. And then the end is supposed to be who was the murderer. And the answer is the maid because her answer is that she was cleaning the corners or like sweeping the corners, but there's no
Okay.
corners in a perfectly circular house. So she was lying.
Yeah.
But when you get into like, you kind of have to elaborate. If you just rush right to, and then there was a murder, and then everybody said, then it's easy to remember that. But when you start to get into details of things, and you make the person's brain kind of go off track because you're following this murder mystery, then when you get to that, you're like, wait, what? You forget that they lived in a like cylindrical house.
It's funny too how different people are smart in different areas and how our brains work. I told the riddle to Wayne, Caleb, my mom, different people. Nobody got it, so I felt better. But
Yeah.
I remember when I remember when I was in college and I was taking chemistry, and this girl that was my lab partner, and she sat near me in class too, and I get really good grades on tests, right? And I told her one day, I'm like, I had a dream that I got a 57 on my test. And she laughed and she's like, you a 57? That's not going to happen, right? And I got my test back and it was like, an A. And then she got a 57, which was really funny, that exact number.
Yeah.
But anyway, she did horrible on tests and the teacher did not like her. But in lab, the girl was like, I didn't understand because I am horrible at directions that are multi-step that I have to remember because I can't like organize it in my brain, right? So if you tell me you have to do this, then this, then this, then this, and this, I won't remember. So like a recipe or something is very overwhelming to me. I have to go from each step and then read it again and then I have to read the whole thing and then go to each step, right? Because I can't remember. This girl would read it and then just go do it. She's like, okay, now we have to do this and this and this. And I'm like, I don't, and it would make me anxious at first because I'm like, I don't even know if we're doing this right. But then after a while, I realized, nope, we're doing it right every time. And I started to trust her. And the teacher would like, who didn't like her, she's like, there's no way you did that quickly. So she would come over and check. And she was like almost annoyed that we got it done so quickly because everybody else was still working on step 2. And I'm like,
That's
it's
interesting.
Funny, right? Like this girl was like, couldn't take tests, but was brilliant in step directions.
I find it interesting because in Taekwondo, like the thing that I'm the worst at is the forms. Like you have to remember, it's like choreography. Yeah. And it's like down block, middle block, and then it's like you have to turn to the left, but you have to do it with your right foot first, not your left foot first. It's just like there's so many like little things. And I look so silly, and I've got like kids that are like trying to teach me, and they're like, no, do this. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you just get it all messed up. And for whatever reason, my son can see it once and like do it. And I don't understand. The forms are his best thing because he remembers them very quickly. And you have to learn a new one for like every single belt or every single stripe or whatever. And then you have to pile them on and remember them. And gosh, it is so hard for me. But he's also pretty good at math. And I wonder if those are similar because he can like remember orders of things and numbers and patterns. So it is very interesting, like the different types of intelligence and like the way people's brains work.
Yeah, I don't know if I would, with movement, I might be able to remember it because like my body will, probably remember that. I mean, I was good at math in sciences, but not the ones where like I wasn't good at biology because you have to memorize everything. Like this connects to this, and then this does this, and this and this. Like no, you have to explain it to me in a way that it will like in detail. Like if I don't know how to, I don't want to go into it, but like you have to explain things to me in detail and tell me exactly how they work, and then I will remember it. But if you just give me like the overview, I'm like, no, I don't. That's out.
Yeah.
Out of
I
my
think
brain.
that's with the forms. Once I practice it enough correctly, that my body does get the chance to kind of memorize it on its own.
Yeah.
Like my body from the neck down has its own like memory. And it's the kind of thing where it goes from the front of your brain to more the back of your brain. Like then it's better because I can just go through the motions. But the actual, when I'm having to remember what comes next and then tell my body what to do, it's like when it's too frontal lobe, it's so hard. Like it takes me so long, and I look like a dodo head.
I was good at like IQ tests too. Like if I take an IQ test, it tells me that I'm like a genius sometimes. I know that's not correct, but I'm very smart in certain things. And other things, it's like, why are you so dumb? I do stupid mistakes all the time.
Yeah.
And I'll just say stupid crap.
Yeah.
But I'm not stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I am.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
I was saying the other day, sorry, I do find this topic interesting though, because I was thinking about it the other day too, or not the other day, it was like 2 weeks ago. We were in Maryland for a spring break, and we were at my sister's house, and it was like a tornado warning, and there was like all kinds of weather stuff going on. So it was the end of our trip. So we ended up staying inside and playing games all day. We played Rock Band, we played board games that she had. And when we were playing a board game, it was a brand new board game that she had just gotten, and she was reading off the directions, and it was like, I was trying so hard to listen to the words she was saying, but I couldn't. Like, so I need to read things. I can't just listen. So then we switched, and I was reading it. And as I was reading it, she was just doing the things. Like, it was clear to me right away that she was not the same way that I was, because I was reading it out loud, and then she was doing the things. And then she was like, oh, okay, I got it. And then she just like started playing, but I didn't have it yet. Like, I was like, I don't understand. Like, I read it and I heard it, and it's taking me a while. And then Donovan came over to join, so we ended up playing 3-player, and she quickly explained it to him, and he went, okay, and just started playing. And I still was like, I literally said to them, I was like, I think I just realized that I'm slow. Like, I'm slow. Like, I'm just not that smart. And they're like, don't say that. I was like, no, I don't even mean it. I just am like, wow, look at that. I'm slow.
I know what you mean though, because like if somebody gives me the directions to a game and there's like 500 things, I can't do it either. I have to play it. And once I start playing it, I go, okay, I get it now. I get the strategy. And then once I figure out the strategy, I'm usually very good at games. But yeah, the first time I'm like, there's too much information. I can't process it all.
Yeah. Maybe it's an ADHD thing or something.
It could be. It could be.
Like, I really need to internalize it in my body before I understand. And then I usually understand it better than most. Maybe that's, anyway, it's interesting.
Yeah. And Wayne and Caleb have very similar intelligence. Like Wayne, it can like just look at like say just an engine or something and just stare and just figure out like how it works and how to put it together and how to take it apart and just do it. Like Caleb is really good with Legos. The other day, yesterday he decided to, it was so cute, he made a design he made a cat with his Legos, and then he decided to make instructions for it, so he drew them all out and made instructions and stapled it together. And they made a box out of paper and stapled it together and put them in.
Did it really look like a cat?
I mean, it wouldn't be like, okay, if he didn't tell me it was a cat, I wouldn't know it was a cat. Because he doesn't have the specialty pieces that you would if you were a Lego company. But yeah.
But it was like the general shape and had all the elements. That's pretty cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's really creative with that
Yeah.
stuff. And then like, sorry, I just find this interesting, and then I'll shut up. When I think of like surgeons or doctors, they might be super smart in this one area, but then you talk to them and they have no social intelligence whatsoever. Right? So there's just all different kinds of. I feel like I'm kind of in the middle. Like I have them all at above
but
average.
Only a little. Oh,
I'm above average,
but only a little. No, like above average
because I'm awesome like that. So I'm just good at everything.
Yeah. I think only a little of everything. Yeah. Oh,
No.
right.
No.
Awesome.
Okay.
Anything else? Should we do Q&A?
You could do Q&A.
All right. Here we go. This is a pregnancy question. You ready to listen?
I'm ready to listen.
So this person is newly pregnant. She said, I need to start working out again so I don't go into pregnancy without being strong. That's a huge concern. But all I see is all this stuff about quote unquote pregnancy workouts. And I don't really know what the difference is supposed to be between like regular workouts and pregnancy workouts. I know I'm not supposed to be maxing out my lifts, but I know that I am allowed to do things that I already can do. So heavy lifting is technically allowed. My husband thinks I should be sticking to things with dumbbells for now just to maintain. My doctor has no clue what to do with heavy lifting. She said it was very funny. She said that I'm more than safe to be lifting 20-pound dumbbells. And I said, what about 100-pound barbells? And she had no idea. Are there any adjustments that you would make to pregnancy, or should it all stay the same?
I wish somebody told me when I was pregnant that it's okay to lift heavy stuff. Like, that's okay. You can do that. Adjustments I would make is, maybe you don't do hip thrusts where it's resting in that area, something like that. But and certain things might get, as you get further along, might be a little bit more uncomfortable. But overall, you can do almost the same stuff. What are the exercises you can't do?
I know that so it's hard because in the very early stages of pregnancy, there's really nothing you can't do, even like direct ab work.
Yeah.
But as the baby starts to grow and your abs start to naturally separate, you're supposed to steer clear from any like really
Crunching.
direct ab work on those frontal like abs, your six-pack abs.
Like separating.
Right. Yeah. I think it's better to do more like core stability stuff. Instead, I remember when I would even do like a little later stages of pregnancy, the tricep press down on the cable machine. Even doing that was like really direct work on my abs, and I would cone, like my abs would be coning. So I had to stop doing stuff like that because even a tricep press down on a cable machine would I'd cone. Some people say
my abs like crazy, by the way.
Yeah.
Every time I do that, I'm like, whoa, holy core. Sorry, go ahead.
There's so much like stability required. You're like kind of in a constant crunch, right?
Yeah,
you're like
it's
tense.
Yeah, and it's like all that weight and you're trying to stay stable. Sorry, go ahead.
I know that I've heard a good argument being made for not doing like a barbell bench press. So when you're laying, or even a dumbbell bench press, like anything when you're laying on your back for a long period of time. But that never bothered me. It's something about the way that it presses on a certain nerve and it can make you pass out.
Okay. Oh.
Or blood flow, like reduced blood flow.
Yeah.
But I
you
never
could always do an incline just
you
in
could.
case.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the pressure of bearing down over time might be, but honestly, once you get big, I mean, there's so many other things. Like, I remember going into pregnancy, like, logically knowing all of this, like, there's really nothing I need to change until my belly's in the way too much. Like, I had to do almost like a sumo squat. I can do like a regular barbell back squat because your belly's in the way. So I knew that all logically, but then your body just takes over and tells you something different. Like, the whole first trimester, I was so exhausted I could barely keep my head up. I would fall asleep like sitting up. So I wasn't working out. So then by the time I felt better in the second trimester, I was very like undertrained. So I'd already spent like 2 months not doing anything. So I'm not just going to go right back to lifting like heavier weights. I was, and then I've got this belly on top of it. So it's like I ended up, I trained pretty much the same way, but I never really was lifting very heavy because I just never got kind of back into that.
I mean, you could just focus on maintaining depending on, where you're
Yeah.
at or how strong you are. I wasn't that was before I started lifting
Yeah.
the way I lift now. So I
Mhm.
really wish I would have back then because I think it would have been a little different.
Yeah.
My both pregnancy, especially Caleb, though, were really bad. I was
Mm.
exhausted the entire time.
Mhm.
The whole time, people were like, "Oh, the second trimester, you start feeling better and getting your
You're
energy
like,
back."
"Nope."
Nope. I was zapped the entire time. I just felt
Mhm.
like total crap. And I'm just a short person and short
Yeah.
torso. So, like, as I got bigger, I remember it pressing on something. I don't know if it was my ribs or something, like my stomach, and I just felt pain all day long.
Yeah.
It's just so uncomfortable.
That's why,
Yeah.
like, my general recommendation is you can 100% lift more than 20 pounds.
Oh,
The
yeah, yeah.
the general recommendation is whatever you're already doing,
Mhm.
you are free and safe to maintain at that level. I would advise against trying to go for new maxes, whether it's in
Yeah.
cardio or lifting, but whatever you're already doing, whatever intensity you're already at, you feel free to maintain that, whatever it is. Now, if your body is just you're so exhausted that you end up it's not necessarily because there's a baby growing inside of you, you're trying to be safe, you just end up, like, falling off. That's fine too, just don't overthink it, like, just get back into it and what feels good for you. Um,
Yeah.
and other than, like, direct ab work and possibly, like, laying on your back as you get bigger, there's really not a lot that really has to change.
Yeah, and if you are like, even if you have never lifted before, you still can. You just start slow and it's fine. It's
Mhm.
actually a good thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's gonna help.
definitely.
It's gonna help push that baby out.
You know what's funny? When I was pregnant with my daughter, I very much did the whole fit pregnancy thing. I even had a blog where I tried to I every week I think I posted on my blog and I posted pictures and I posted all the activity I was doing. Like I ate healthy, I lifted throughout the whole time except for that first trimester when I was exhausted. Like I
Mhm.
really stayed active up until like the day I gave birth. I was lifting, I was squatting, I was in the gym, I was doing all the stuff. And I ended up gaining like 50 pounds with her. And I'm small too, but I gained
Whoa,
50 pounds.
that's a lot.
It is, and I carried it decently well. Like, if you look at my pictures, I don't look like a my stepdad used to say, like, "Oh, yeah, you're gonna turn into one of those, they weeble and they wobble, but they don't fall down," like almost like a perfect circle. But,
Yeah.
I never did it. I carried it well, and then my second pregnancy, which was very soon after my first, um, I was already kinda like, "All right, I wasn't prepared to be pregnant again." I still had, like, a baby, right? And it just kinda happened, and I still cared, but I cared way less because I still was at the point where I was like, "All right, I need to get this, like, baby weight off," and then all of a sudden I was pregnant again. I was kind of like, "F it. Oh my gosh, F it." I ate mac and cheese every single week. I still was active, I walked, but I didn't really do 50 pounds. I still gained 50 pounds. Like, they were the exact same,
Yeah, that is
even
funny because
though yeah.
yeah, I gained, which is funny, I'm laughing at you, like, because I thought mine was high. I gained like 40 to 45 pounds, somewhere in
Mhm.
there with both kids. So I
Yeah.
gained the same amount too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw somebody online recently that showed pictures of their first pregnancy and their second, and she's
Mhm.
like, "This is me at my first pregnancy. I gained 65 pounds, and these are all the things I did wrong. Like, I didn't care about this, and I didn't stay active, and blah, blah, blah." And she's like, "And now, look at me now. I'm about to give birth, and I've only gained 40, and here's all the things I'm doing differently." And the
Yeah.
first thought I had was, sure, maybe it has to do with what you're doing. It could also just be your body. Like, your first
Yeah.
pregnancy, that's what your body
I
did, and you have no
I
reason for it.
I know it was because I ate so much food. I was, like, so hungry. I know I
Yeah,
ate
I did not do
it
that with my first one. I was like the picture perfect and I gained 50 pounds.
that's really funny.
Yeah, really weird. Anyway, all right, next one. This was a question I left it here, but it's already been answered, but I think it's a kind of a good discussion point. So this was leading up to the current fat loss challenge that we're doing with the group. This person said, with the upcoming fat loss challenge, I've been eating 17 to 1800 calories a day. So this person, when she started, she was like at like 1200. So she's been working on increasing her metabolism, increasing her food, increasing her weights. She's been working on that. So she's currently up to 17 to 1800 calories a day from like 1200. However,
Yeah.
she's been losing about a half a pound a month. Like pretty consistently, her weight is dropping. And she said, somewhat unintentionally, as I'm supposed to be finding my maintenance calories. So with this fat loss challenge coming up, should I push my calories up to about 2,000 until the challenge starts and then drop them to 16 to 1,700 for the challenge? Like she was kind of just trying to figure out what she should do. And this was probably like 3 weeks before it started.
Did you already answer her? You already
I
answered her? I might give her a
did.
different answer. I wonder what you gave her. So
Yeah.
I would say that, I mean, it depends on, I mean, I'm assuming her goal is fat loss, right? I would say if it's working, just stay there. Just stay there. And like, it, your, if you're losing weight there, then you already got your maintenance up, right? So you're in a deficit. You're not eating at maintenance, but your maintenance must already have climbed to where it needed to be, because if you're losing weight at 1,800 calories, then you're probably already in a good place. So I'd say as long as you feel good, if you don't need the break, then I would just keep going.
That's essentially what I said. I was
Is
like,
it?
what you're doing essentially is like recomp, because also,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, she went from like 1,200-ish calories to like, 1,800-ish and it's kind of dropping weight. And then she did end up bringing him up to about 2,000. And then the scale started to creep up again. So she brought him down to like, I think she's at like 18 to 1,900 now. Like, think about, and then the scale's kind of steady. Like, think
Hmm.
about how much your metabolism has improved just from that alone. So it's probably not a good idea to then go right back into a deficit after you've gotten to that point, and you're still like having her weights are going up, her form is getting better, like all these great things are happening. I was basically like, I don't think you need to do a fat like a cut right now. Like you should stay exactly where you are.
Mm.
Was kind of
Yeah.
my thing. Like, yeah, don't worry about it.
Recupping is awesome, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Definitely.
You could get you more food and you lose fat at the same
Oh,
time.
yeah. Yeah. Keep doing
But
what you're doing. And
yeah.
in a little bit, maybe, you could revisit that. But because she did also something that's not in the question, but that I know is that she did actually, I don't know how long it's been at least a few months, like a pretty good amount of time. And in the middle of that time, at some point, she did have a little period of time where she was like, oh no, I should like do this little cut. So she did. And her body didn't respond to it at all. Like she brought her calories down and nothing happened. So
That's what
I
happens to
already,
me.
yeah, it's like your body does not want that, right? You need to stay
It doesn't.
you need to, and it probably that's going to be the risk again, is if you try to just like, okay, this fat loss challenge is coming up. She's already in the group, so she already has access to it. So she's like, oh, I should just do it now. No, actually, because you're less likelihood that it's actually going to work unless you
Yeah.
wait. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. Another good one. So this person said, what do you recommend for us to do when we've been forced to take a short break? I've been out of the gym for the past 3+ weeks. I was sick and trying to heal whatever this heel pain is. I know I'm not up to 100% yet, but I'm ready to get back to it at some level. How do you recommend doing that? Where do we start? I'm still feeling tired, but I'm afraid that if I don't get going, I'll have completely fallen off the wagon. So I'd imagine this is a person, well, I know who this person is, but this is a person who's like was pretty consistent 4 days a week, getting her 10,000 steps, all that stuff, and now has been out. And I know I need to get back, but I don't know where to start. And I think that decision fatigue of just not even knowing what to do causes like the delay of like starting again.
So don't know where to start, like don't know what I should do like between like getting my steps in and strength training or something like that, or I don't know where to start and like what kind of program should I do?
I think it was not sure, like, should I start a program? Should I just go do stuff? I want to go to the gym, but I don't know what to do when I get there. Like, I'm not, because I think also, I'm guessing she didn't say this, but I'm guessing also it's like I would like to just start like an actual program, but I don't think she trusts herself that she's fully back in. So she probably just doesn't want to jump right into a program from going from nothing to like, okay, now I have this 3-4 day a week program to do. So like,
Hmm.
what do I do to, you need like a week or two to get back into it before you're like, all right, I'm good now. Let's start a program. Like, what do I
Okay.
do? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? That's what I'm imagining.
you could do that. You could go to the gym and just play around, do some things. You could
That's
do
what
that.
honestly, that's what I said. I was like, I actually love the time periods when that kind of happens accidentally where I'm in between programs and I know I'm not starting one to a certain time. It's like, because at first it feels a little panicky, like, oh, what do I even do? And then the decision of what do I do is like, is that too, I don't even feel like going anymore. But when you just stop and go, do whatever you want to do, just go in and what exercise you feel like doing, just do it. Like there's no rules, just
Yeah.
play around, just do some exercises that you like.
Yeah, you could do that. Especially if you've been doing it for a while, you have a good idea of you know, all the different exercises you can do. You can just go in and play around and just don't lift really heavy because I wouldn't, because it's,
Yeah, you'll be so
yeah, just
sore.
ease into it. And then when you do a program, same thing, ease into it. You don't have to follow the exact RPEs that are there, whatever. Just, you know, ease into
Mhm.
it.
Yep.
But usually it was only 3 weeks. Usually you can get back into it pretty quick if it's only been
Yeah.
3 weeks.
A lot of
Yeah.
it's mental. It's like you're still
Yeah.
coming from this kinda lazy, like, frustrated
Mhm.
spot in your mind. So that's normally my recommendation for that coming back from a break is, like, pick a goal for that, and don't think of it long term. I like to pick a goal for, like, the coming week. Like, "Okay, this week I'm getting back into it, and my goal is to be in the gym 3 total times." And whatever I do in there, if one day I feel like going and finding an actual structured workout, like from the app that I want to follow, then great, that's what I'll do. But the only goal is to get in there. And so day
Yeah.
one is usually like doing whatever I want. And then that might feel good enough that by day two, I'm like, all right, I'm going to follow a structured one now, and then by the end of the week, it's like, okay, next week, I'm going to, maybe start this program or whatever. But
Yeah.
you need that, keep the promise you make to yourself about just getting into the space.
Honestly, the hardest part a lot of times is just getting started
Mhm.
when you haven't done it in a while and getting back into that routine.
Yep. All right. This is a little bit more of a complicated question.
Okay.
So this person said, I never tracked calories at all until I got gestational diabetes at 39. Then for another pregnancy at 42, and for a bit of baby weight loss a few years later when I stopped breastfeeding. So she's only tracked these 3 kind of distinct periods of time: gestational diabetes in 2 pregnancies and then trying to lose baby weight. Now I'm back to tracking for lifting, and it's oppressive. Wondering if I should just track protein and fiber, or maybe I can totally let it go.
Oppressive. Is it oppressive because
Yeah.
she's, like, trying to fit everything, like, hitting the numbers perfectly? I'm assuming?
That's my guess because she said, wondering if I should just track protein and fiber. So when she
Yeah.
said that, it made me think, well, what are you tracking then? If,
Yeah. Yeah, if you're
yeah,
trying to hit, your carbs and fats, I guess that is oppressive.
yeah.
It's funny because mine hit, like, almost mine hit where they're supposed to be naturally, but I'm not trying to. If I was trying
Mhm.
to, I think it would be overwhelming. Like, "Oh,
Mhm.
I have to have this many carbs, but I want steak today. Now my
Yeah,
fat's gonna be too high," or, whatever. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, don't worry
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah,
Y
I mean, the answer is yes, you should absolutely just track protein and calories and look at
Yeah.
fiber. Yeah, like you should absolutely just do that and make it a lot easier on yourself because I would like to follow up with this person and say, "Well, what did tracking look like for you those 3 times that you did it?" Because
Yeah.
most likely it's the way that you were doing it that was oppressive, not tracking itself. It was the way you were doing it. That's almost always the answer.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know what else is almost always the answer? Tracking, like, I always say tracking is a tool to manage your nutrition. It's not the nutrition plan in itself. The nutrition plan in itself has to be, like, good, right? You have to be eating like whole foods and good foods. And then you track that on top of that just to get the numbers and the data for it. But tracking isn't, you could track Oreos all day and you're not on track, right? Your nutrition needs to be solid. And then you track it as an extra measure of kind of seeing where everything is and having a little bit more control and, being able to manage that a little better. And so many people go into tracking just not actually changing what they're doing that much other than, oh, I need to eat better. Instead, you have to plan ahead of time because if you're trying to wing it every single meal and every single day, and then you're also adding in like picking up an app and trying to log what you're doing without, and it's all sporadic, and then you're trying to get all these macros exactly in the right spot, then yeah, it's going to feel oppressive and it's going to feel like overwhelming. But if you make a plan at the beginning of the week and you already have those foods in some kind of a tracker, you just click them and add them and it's so much easier.
And I feel like it's even easier nowadays because this is one of the things that I think ChatGPT and all those chatbots are good for is tell it, "Hey, I need some meals that are around this many calories and this much protein. Can you make me some dinners or whatever recipes for that?" And it spits out some good stuff.
Yeah.
It's not that bad,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Anyway. it can be helpful.
Yeah. So I definitely say that it's the way that you're doing it. You need to plan ahead. And you do need to lower the expectations a little bit. Yeah, just
Mhm.
protein and calories and fiber is a great idea. Next one is this has no context at all. What do you think about one meal a day?
Horrible. Oh, imagine trying to
Awful.
eat that much food in one meal.
Ugh.
Ugh.
What would even be the benefit? Why would
There
anybody want to do
isn't.
that?
There isn't one. People will say, fasting, all that stuff, but it doesn't work that way. You still get all the benefits if you ate 3 times with
Yep.
the same amount of calories. It's calories. It's not the time that you're eating.
Yeah.
No, that would be horrible on my digestion.
The only time I could think of this being a useful or what you might assume would be useful is like, well, I'm going to eat out later. And very many meals, if you look at a menu sometimes that gives you the calories, some of those meals are my entire calories for the day. It's like, that's a lot. So if you're like, I really want this one specific meal and it's all my calories in the day, so I'm just going to eat one meal a day. Well, you're not going to get the protein you need because there's no
That's
way
what I
that
was
has
gonna
120
say, yeah.
grams of protein. It's all fat and carbs that's taken, or fat mainly, that's making that so high.
Could you imagine eating 120 grams of protein in
No.
one sitting? How
Mm-mm.
much chicken is that?
It sounds so uncomfortable. And like you
That-
said, like fat on the digestion and not optimal in terms of like spreading the protein out throughout the day. Like it's
Yeah.
not going to be optimal in terms of how your body processes and utilizes those amino acids.
What is that, like 20 ounces of chicken all at once? I don't
Ugh.
even know. Yeah, it would be a lot. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of chicken.
Yeah, don't do it. We think
Don't
bad.
do that. That's over a pound all at once.
What do you think about one meal a day? Bad.
Bad. Bad idea. I don't like it.
Bad idea.
0
last
stars.
question. 0 stars. Don't do it. No reason to do it. 0 reason. Literally 0 reason.
Will not recommend.
Last question. Supersets. What is the
Uh-huh.
benefit? My trainer has me doing supersets of lateral deltoid raises and shoulder presses. I feel like I could lift heavier if I did them individually. It's a loaded question. This is a good one. That is the only superset in my entire workout.
So there must have been a reason her trainer put those there, because that's not, a lot of times when we superset, it's opposing muscles, right? So it will be, biceps and triceps, or a push and a pull, something like that, where they're put there to save you time. In this case,
Yeah. I mean,
don't know.
there's a possibility that there's not a reason and this was a very poorly designed superset, right? There's a possibility that this person was like, this sounds like a combo that you could just do. And I mean, I've done this before intentionally with like if you're doing a lateral raise and then a shoulder press, you're working that it could be like so
Like
like a pre-exhaust. Yeah, like activate, so like a pre-exhaust. So if you do lateral raises and then immediately go into shoulder presses, you're not gonna be able to lift as heavy on your shoulder press because your lateral deltoid is already gonna be halfway burnt out by the time you get there. But that can be a good strategy if you're trying to grow the lateral deltoid muscles because they're kind of hard to hit and hard to burn out anyway. So if the goal is let's lift as heavy weight as possible in an overhead press, then this is a terrible superset. But if the goal is I would like to grow my lateral deltoids, then this could be a good strategy to get some more volume on the lateral delts. And you don't necessarily need to worry about lifting as heavy as you can on the shoulder press, the overhead press.
It's like the 6 12 25 method. Remember when I was doing that?
Oh yeah.
Where you're choosing the same muscles. So you're doing one at 6, so it's like strength, and then one at 12, and then one at 25. So you're getting like strength, hypertrophy, muscular endurance all in one, and makes you want to die.
Yeah. Lovely.
But there could be reasons. But
yeah,
so that's what
when it starts out, supersets, what's the benefit? It can be multiple benefits depending on how they're paired. Like if they're opposing muscle groups, usually the benefit of that is just so you're not standing around and you're kind of getting it done quicker. That's the benefit.
Yeah.
If they're like similar muscle groups, then that's where I would say you need to. This was a question in a group, right? You need to ask your trainer, what was your reason for this? If you ask somebody else, they're not going to be able to tell you. We can only guess.
Yeah.
Right? We can only guess.
I don't know what he was thinking.
Now, if this person was
He
like,
or
hey, I
she.
really want to lift heavier and I really want to get my overhead press heavier and all of this stuff, then yeah, I'd be like, what is this? I'm too tired to be able to do it. But yeah. All right, that's it. That's all I got.
That's it?
Yep.
Okay.
Those are my
It's a
questions.
shorter one.
That's fine with me.
At least we got through all the questions that we haven't answered because I
We
talk too
did.
much.
Yeah. You talk a great amount. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. I'll put the correct music in on this one. If you like this, please like, comment, subscribe. We'd appreciate it a ton, and we'll see you next week.